Enter a world where the past dances with the present, where vibrant history intertwines with modern allure. Welcome to Old Town Scottsdale, a captivating haven nestled in the heart of Arizona's desert landscape. As you wander through its sun-drenched streets, you're surrounded by an eclectic energy and undeniable charm that pulses through every brick and cobblestone. The scent of Southwest cuisine tantalizes your senses as you explore art galleries, boutique shops, and lively entertainment venues. Immerse yourself in the pulsating heartbeat of the cultural oasis, where the spirit of the Wild West meets contemporary flair, promising endless adventures and unforgettable memories. Today, I'm going to tell you about the pros and cons of living in or near Old Town Scottsdale. All right, let's jump right in. I have lots to cover today. I have 14 pros and 8 cons of living in South Scottsdale, or what many of you think of as Old Town Scottsdale. So let's jump in. Do remember I have all the chapters labeled here, so if you want to jump ahead to certain sections, feel free to do so. Pro number 1 is median home prices. I know what you're thinking, Todd, it's Scottsdale. How can median home prices be a pro? Well, you're right. Scottsdale, across the Phoenix Metro, Scottsdale has the second highest median home prices. However, South Scottsdale is the lowest. Also, based on where you're probably coming from, Scottsdale is probably across the board pretty affordable for you for what you get for your money. So let's talk about median home prices down here in South Scottsdale. Zip code 85257. Right now, median home prices right now today are $612,000. Not bad. Now that's everything. That's including homes, townhomes, condos. You're not going to find as many townhomes and condos in 85257, but if we go just a little bit north to 85251, median prices, home prices are $516,000. So again, a lot of that is taking into consideration the condos and townhome market down in that area, because today most homes are going to be a little over $600,000 as a starting point. You will still find some under 600, maybe a few even under 500, but 3-bedroom, 2-bath. As a general rule, a nice home in South Scottsdale is going to run you a little over 600. Now, taking that into consideration, why do I list South Scottsdale median home prices as a pro? Well, if you want to live in Scottsdale, across the board, Scottsdale median home prices right now are $815,000. So you can see much more affordability down towards the south. You know, I created Phoenix Homes and Hotspots to connect homes with the lifestyle around those homes using the power of video and community. What's up, everybody? My name is Todd Hall. I'm founder of Phoenix Homes and Hotspots right here in beautiful, sunny Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, if you're moving to the Phoenix Metro or thinking about moving to Phoenix Scottsdale, and you want to know not just where all the great homes are, but what is the community like that surrounds that house, and as well as all the local hotspots in the area, restaurants, shopping, hiking, golf, whatever it might be, you've come to the right spot. We're going to connect all the dots for you. And listen, if you're coming out to the Phoenix Metro, you want to do some of our homes and hotspots tours, all you got to do is give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. That way we can be your key to AZ. All right, now pro number 2 here in South Scottsdale is location. Location is a big part of a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today, but let's specifically focus right now on access. Location as it involves access. So really great freeway access. You have the 101 loop that runs just to the east, that runs north up to North Scottsdale, then curves around to the west over to the West Valley. Also goes down south to Chandler, Mesa, Gilbert, Tempe. And then you have access to the 202 that will take you in a direct line right out through downtown Phoenix. If you want to go to ball games, theater, whatever you might want to do down there, and all the way again over to the West Valley, and then out towards Los Angeles if you wanted to make a trip over to California. So location is really great. South Scottsdale and that Old Town area is really, if you threw a dart at the map, you're almost hitting the center of Phoenix Metro. So really great central location and really great access to get around the valley. All right, now restaurants are such a big part of life here in the Phoenix Metro, but specifically in Scottsdale and specifically in Old Town Scottsdale. So number 3 is restaurants. I told you, location is key. Old Town Scottsdale is really kind of the urban epicenter of Scottsdale. As you get further north, it becomes more rural. But over 120 different culinary experiences here in the Old Town Scottsdale area to choose from, ranging from authentic Mexican food to all the way up to whatever you want, upscale steakhouses and everything in between. You're going to find it. The streets are lined with amazing restaurants here in 85251 and 85257 Old Town South Scottsdale. If you like to shop, there's no better place to do it than Old Town Scottsdale. Number 4 on our list is shopping. And one of the great things is that you have a diverse types of shopping that are down here in this area, starting with the largest shopping mall in the state of Arizona, one of the largest in the entire Southwest. That's the Scottsdale Fashion Square. Then moving across the street to Waterfront and across the canal. From there, you have the Fifth Avenue shops where you'll find more antique and boutique style shops. And then you have the Old Historic Scottsdale, which is kind of an old cowboy town, if you will. Still kind of feels like it's in its original form, where you have urban meets cowboy in the Old Town Scottsdale area. But the shops you're going to find over there, you're going to find Indian, old Indian antiques, cowboy shops, and all kinds of fun stuff in that area. So there's really something for everybody if you love shopping. I always call Old Town Scottsdale the epicenter of entertainment in general in Arizona. And so if you like nightlife, number 5 on the list is the great adult activities that take place down in this area. I like to call Old Town Scottsdale an adult playground. And the reason for that is not only are there great restaurants like we talked about earlier, but there's fantastic bars and nightclubs throughout this particular area of 85251. On Scottsdale Road, you're going to have a street lined with bars, restaurants, outdoor patio bars, and nightclubs on the street. And then you have an entire entertainment district just to the east of that, all within walking distance of each other, by the way. An entire entertainment district of bars and nightclubs and some restaurants mixed into that as well. So the entertainment and nightlife down in this area is second to none here in Arizona. Old Town Scottsdale sits in the shadows, literally, of Camelback Mountain. So number 6 on our list is hiking. Now, there's 2 great trails there at Camelback Mountain. You have the Cholla, which is closest to Old Town Scottsdale on the west side of the mountain, and over towards the east side of on the east side of the mountain. Over to the west side of the mountain, you have Echo Canyon. Now, just a warning that, first of all, in the summer months, like right now, I'm sitting out in the heat, you're probably not going to hike these trails unless you do it really, really early in the morning with lots of water. They are fairly tough hikes, especially like the Cholla Trail, which is, again, closest to Old Town Scottsdale, like over on the east side of the mountain. That trail isn't too bad for the first half or so, and then it gets pretty steep on the back end. Echo Canyon is a challenging trail. So, you can hike portions of these trails if you're kind of on a beginner level, or if you're more advanced, these are going to be really great trails for you to hike as well. But again, access to hiking makes number 6 on our list. I had a client call me once that called me for a very specific reason. He watched a video that I shot going up and down on an electric scooter and talking about Scottsdale on the Scottsdale Greenbelt. Number 7 on my list is access to great hiking and biking trails. Now, right through Old Town Scottsdale, right through the waterfront, and connecting up further to the northeast, up to the Scottsdale Greenbelt, is the Canal Path. A really nice little walking and biking trail that locals use a lot. Jogging, just to get out, get some exercise, walk the dog, whatever that might be. Bikers like to bike up to the Scottsdale Greenbelt and ride the Greenbelt, which is an 11-mile path that goes from South Scottsdale all the way up kind of to an area that I call North Centro and into Scottsdale East. So it's an 11-mile path that runs through Scottsdale. It also runs south down to Tempe and along the Tempe waterfront down there as well. So again, one of the reasons that people really love Scottsdale is the outdoor activities. Hiking and biking is one of those activities that people really love out here. You know, I've been in the real estate business now since 1999, so I know your pain points. And the number 1 pain point is finding the right real estate consultant to work with, but the other one is finding the right loan broker. Now listen, I haven't told very many people this, but my first couple of years in the business, I almost left the business. And it was because there were things in a real estate transaction that I personally couldn't control. And that number one thing was that my loan brokers that I was referring my clients to were dropping the ball. Couldn't have been more frustrating. So I know if it was frustrating for me, it's frustrating for you. Look, you need somebody that's going to give you the best communication. They're going to do what they say they do. They close your loan on time, but also they give you the best pricing, the lowest interest rates, and the lowest closing costs without having to haggle with them. The loan team I work with now, I've been working with since 2005. They are the best of the best of the best. My clients thank me every time they use them. If you want them as well on your team, you want to be on our team, you know what to do. Pick up the phone, give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and I'll make sure you get hooked up with the best team here in the Phoenix Metro. Now listen, let's get back to this video. Now, speaking of outdoor activities, whether you have kiddos or not, everybody loves our parks out here because there's really something for everyone. One of the parks I love, my favorite park in Scottsdale, by the way, is Chaparral Park, which sits just over a little bit east of Old Town Scottsdale, about a mile or so. And again, the Scottsdale Greenbelt runs right through that. Chaparral Park has a fishing lake, so you're going to find people out there fishing all the time. By the way, you can have some small boats. That lake is stocked with fish a couple times a year, so there's some really nice catches in that lake. You have a walking trail all the way around the lake, so people will walk, jog, bike around the trail or around the lake on the trail. You know, the kids' playground, there's an aquatic center. There is sand volleyball, basketball, there's soccer fields, softball fields, and some really nice dog parks. So something really for everyone. We have some really great parks out here, and even on a hot day like today, you will find some people out using those parks, usually earlier in the morning, like right now. But parks are a huge, huge perk to living here in the South Scottsdale area. Now, another great segue, talking about parks, right behind me you see the Scottsdale Civic Center Park. This is just now remodeled and restructured, so it's been closed for the last year and a half, but this is typically home to a lot of great festivals and events that happen throughout the year. One of the prime events that happens here in South Scottsdale in the spring is the Scottsdale Culinary Festival, which is one of the largest in the country. So we'll see if they bring that back or not. Again, this park is just now reopening. It's going to be beautiful when they're done. They're mostly finished with it, but this is just one more park. And again, the events and festivals that we have down here in this area in the fall, winter, and spring months are really, really amazing. Now, I mentioned earlier, Old Town Scottsdale is really separated into two different places today. You have Old Historic Scottsdale, and you have kind of the new urban modern Old Town Scottsdale. So one of the benefits for some people of living, or the pros of living down here in this area, is they love the rich history. They love the old cowboy history. Pull up some photos from the 1950s. My first home that I bought here in Arizona was in Old Town Scottsdale. It was built in the 1950s. Well, back in the 1950s, it was all dirt roads and horses on those roads. And so pretty interesting to watch the evolution. The great thing about Old Town Scottsdale is they preserved some of that history. So if you like history and you like tapping into some of those cowboy type of areas, then you're going to like living down here in this Old Town Scottsdale area. Now, from a housing standpoint, like I said, most of the homes originally built down here were built in the 1950s. They were old ranch style homes, 12 to 1,500 square feet, some of them 2 bedrooms. But the perk today, number 11, is the mix of types of housing that you have down here in today's day and age. So now what you have is a lot of those 1950s homes, by the way, have been completely bought out by investors, in some cases torn down to the ground and built back up in modern fashion. Some still look original from the outside, but when you open the door, they look like a brand new model home. They've been completely remodeled, rebuilt in some cases. And then you have a nice mix of townhomes here in 85251. You have a really nice mix of townhomes and condos ranging from older and affordable. You can still find some condos and townhomes in the $300,000 range, and then working all the way up to mid-rise and high-rise modern condos that have been built over the last 20 years. So you have a really nice residential mix. If you want newer, you can find it. If you want older, historic, you can find it. There's really something for everyone here. Now, what about if you're just planning a stay out here? You want to come out for vacation, or maybe you need a place to stay while you're looking for your new home. Well, you're going to need to find some great resorts or Airbnbs, and you're going to have a really nice mix of both. Resorts are everywhere. Literally throw a dart at the map. You're down here in 85251 and you're going to hit a resort. Same thing with Airbnbs, tons and tons of options. Lots of people own Airbnb. If you're an investor, by the way, hit me up. I have some great Airbnb videos. If you want to own a piece of Scottsdale without living here full time, you want to own short-term rentals, whether that's Airbnb or just doing 2 to 3 month furnished rentals, or even long-term rentals, hit me up. I have some great videos for that. In fact, I'll link that I'll link my investor videos right above me, the whole playlist, so you can check that out. But again, if you're coming out here to stay, you're gonna have lots of options down here in South Scottsdale, specifically in the 85251 or Old Town Scottsdale area. Hey, if you haven't gotten enough here on this YouTube channel and you want more great content on what to do while you're visiting the Phoenix Metro, I just created a new Facebook group. It's called Scottsdale Communities and Hotspots. So when you're done here, head over there. I'm going to show you all the top hotspots in and around Scottsdale, Arizona, from restaurants, nightlife, shopping, golfing, hikes, special events coming to town. I'm going to do some video walkthroughs with local owners and them walking you through their hotspot. And you're going to get lots of great local residents and their recommendations for what you should do while you're visiting here in the Phoenix Metro. So again, when you're done here, head over to the Facebook group, Scottsdale Communities and Hotspots. We'll see you over there. When a new client comes to town, the first thing almost always comment like, this city is so clean. Reason number 13, the pro number 13 of moving to Old Town Scottsdale is certainly the cleanliness. You're going to find, again, regardless of where you're at, whether it's old or new, you're going to find clean streets, clean parks, clean lakes, man-made lakes, of course, but everything just super, super clean and safe too, by the way. Crime rates are really low in this area. Overall, comparing nationally, but cleanliness comes in at number 13 on our pros list. All right, last but not least on that pros list, coming in at number 14, I always call Scottsdale very lifestyle diverse. Now, as a general rule, the demographics down here in Old Town Scottsdale have changed dramatically over the years. When I first moved here 20 years ago, a lot of the owners around me in my original neighborhood, remember homes built in the 1950s, were original owners. These people were 70 years old, most of them. Now, everything has changed. It started to turn over. You have investors that have come in, bought a lot of the homes, they've flipped them into remodels, and now that demographic has really changed into kind of a mid to upper 30s crowd. However, lifestyle diverse is really important here in Scottsdale because it doesn't matter what part of town you live in or what neighborhood you live in, you're always going to have a mix of young families, business people, upscale, kind of more of a luxury type of client, if you will, coming from my perspective, but also seniors. Seniors love this area, whether it's North Scottsdale or South Scottsdale. Seniors that like being in more of an urban environment where they're surrounded by lots of things to do, love this area as well. So I call it lifestyle diverse, meaning that everybody fits in regardless of where you live here in Scottsdale. All right, now shifting gears, let's talk about my 8 cons of living in Old Town Scottsdale. Con number 1 is going to shock and surprise you. Con number 1 is golf. Yes, I know, Scottsdale's known for golf. People come here just to golf. They make entire week trips just to play golf in Scottsdale. However, we're talking about Old Town Scottsdale. And in Old Town Scottsdale, even though golf is close and you have access to great golf courses, you have to drive a little bit to most of it. There is a golf course down here in this area. Continental is a little par 3, more of a practice course. Just to the west, you have the Phoenician, which is actually it's a Phoenix address, but it's not too far to the west, so that's not a bad track. Just to the north, you have McCormick Ranch, which is kind of more of a residential lake-filled course. So again, not bad tracks up there. You have 2 18-hole courses at McCormick Ranch. But to get to the desert golf and some of the golf that people really talk and rave about here in this area, you need to get up a little bit further north. Now again, you have golf all around. I'm not saying that there isn't golf or that you have to drive hours to get to it. I'm just saying if we're talking specifically about Old Town Scottsdale, if you want to live on one of these prestigious luxury luxury golf courses, it's not going to be in South Scottsdale. All right, now con number 2 is crime rates. I know, I just told you crime is really low here compared to most areas of the country, and that's true. But there is a little bit more crime in South Scottsdale than there would be in North Scottsdale. So if you were to look at a crime chart and see where most crimes are committed in Scottsdale, more would be here in South Scottsdale, although again, not nearly what it would be in other major cities around the country. Now, speaking of crime, our violent crime rates are very, very low across the country, regardless of what part of Scottsdale you're in. Most of the crimes that take place here are going to be theft and those types of things, the things that you deal with in every city. But across the board, crime rates are pretty low. The reason I listed it as a con for South Scottsdale is because the majority of the crime that does take place in Scottsdale is going to be further to the south as opposed to up in the north part of Scottsdale, where you have all of your luxury and in many cases gated communities. If you follow me at all or watch any of my videos, is schools. Now, the perk is that you do have schools here. If you're not happy, if you live in South Scottsdale, 85251 or 85257 or 85250 for that matter, just a little to the north, and you're not happy with the schools that that your kids are assigned to or the district that they're in, you can move them. You can use the school choice program. We do have school choice, so we have public charter schools, we have private schools, and you don't have to go very far. As you get further north in Scottsdale, the schools get better, and as you go a little bit west over to Arcadia, there's some good schools in that area also that are fairly short drives to get your kiddos into some better and more highly rated and more accomplished schools here in the area. So reason number 3 as far as con is schools. Now, if you're like me, you probably love the charm of an older home. One of these older ranch-style homes built in the 1950s, especially if it's remodeled to look like a brand new model home. But some people just don't like it. There's people that I'll tour down here and they want affordability, and I'll tour them through Old Town Scottsdale through the single-family homes. They're like, you know what? I don't care if it's remodeled. I don't want it. I don't like homes built in the 1950s. So I'm going to list that as a con here, although some people actually love that, and that would be a pro. For those that want newer, modern, more contemporary architecture, then this is probably not the area for you unless you're looking maybe at one of our mid or high-rise condos. So reason number 4 would be the age and style of the single-family homes themselves. Now, here's another one that's a little bit loaded. Number 5 on my list for cons in South Scottsdale is traffic. Overall, I mentioned earlier, one of the things that people comment on right away when I start touring them for the first time through Scottsdale is they comment on the cleanliness. Well, the other thing they comment on is, geez, the traffic is really light here. The only reason I listed it as a con for South Scottsdale is because, remember, it's more urban and dense down here. So you're going to run into a lot more traffic as a general rule down here in the Old Town Scottsdale area, especially with some of the tourism and stuff, as opposed to when you get up north into North Scottsdale. So for that reason, traffic makes number 5 on my cons list of living in South Scottsdale. All right, here's another great segue into number 6. Tourism. If you don't like living in areas where there's high tourism, where in the spring, fall, and winter months you're going to have lots of people just touring around, congesting the streets, or whatever that might look like, then Old Town might not be for you. But look, it's not Orlando. I worked and lived in Orlando. In fact, I worked and lived in a campus at Disney for several years, and so I know what tourism looks like. If that's a concern to you, I would suggest come out and take a look at it first. It's really not too bad. But if you're the type of person that doesn't want to be right in the thick of it with tourism, then this area may not be for you. Now, one of the things we do really well, I should say, here in Scottsdale is we keep up with infrastructure really well. And that's Arizona as a whole. The whole Phoenix Metro, we really do a great job of keeping up with infrastructure. And so with that, though, down here, especially in Old Town Scottsdale, there's so much development happening. The park right behind me, as I mentioned earlier, just got completely rebuilt over the last year and a half. It's been closed and it's still not completely finished, although it's really close. So I'm looking around me right now at caution tape of areas that are just roped off where they're still working on things. Caesars Republic Scottsdale is now opening up between just north of the Scottsdale Fashion Square Mall and just to the south of Optima Camel View condos. And so that's a new hotel from Caesars that's being built right now. So the reality is there's always some construction happening down here because there's so much new development and just so many cool new things coming in that progress, of course, takes development, and construction is a part of the opportunity cost of that. All right, and last on our cons list for Old Town Scottsdale is the party crowd. I mentioned entertainment and nightlife as a pro to Old Town Scottsdale. If you like to party, this is really the epicenter of great parties in Arizona. However, with that, if you're living in Old Town Scottsdale and you're not a partier, you do have to know that Scottsdale Road and the Scottsdale Entertainment District get a little rowdy on the weekends, and sometimes during the weekdays as well, depending on what events are taking place. The good news is most of the homes are going to be remote from that. You're not going to catch that noise. There are a few condos and homes here and there that may catch a little bit of noise from those crowds, but as a general rule, you're going to be remote enough from those. You'll be close enough to be able to enjoy them, but far enough where you're not going to catch the noise. Either way, number 8, if you don't want to be near the party crowd, you may want to steer clear of Old Town Scottsdale. Hey, did you like that video? Show me some love. Hit the like button down below. Drop a comment. Let me know what your thoughts were. Then be sure you subscribe and tap that alert bell. And from there, I'm going to do all the heavy lifting for you. We'll create the content. We will notify you every time we create new popular videos right here on Phoenix Homes and Hotspots. And then check the description below. I have some other related videos down there. Or you can check out 2 of my most popular videos right here.